And we are back on. Welcome, guys. Another week of Ask AG live here at Open for Business HQ. Alrighty, I'm going to flick the rate around because we'll be talking a little bit about episode 26 of the podcast tonight. Awesome interview with Shannon. It was one of my favourite podcasts so far. Time to check it out. Wait for that camera to flip around. Let's see who jumps on tonight. For everybody who is going to catch this later on the track when it's not live, don't worry, you can still have your questions answered. You can still throw your questions into the ring, guys. Just pop them in the comments section below and we can carry on the conversation even after we are no longer live. So if you've got a question, chuck it into the comment section. Millsy has jumped in. Joe has jumped in as well. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you jumping on board. Hope everybody has had a ripper day so far. There's not too much left of the day. Actually, it is 8:30 on a Wednesday night, which is Ask AG time. And really looking forward to having a quick chat to you. Last week's show was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great questions being thrown at me and us, including what sort of animal would I want to be? And we just sort of asked everybody, what sort of animal would you be? And the whole conversation turned into, very interesting. What was the animal that we're talking about? The Thai liger. Yes, if you don't know what a Thai liger is, look it up. Or head back to, scroll down the feed and check out last week's video. Thai liger, very interesting. Guys, as always, if you have any questions, if you've got any comments, if you just want to say g'day, pop something into the comment section below and we can get the ball rolling on tonight's episode. Now, I did also just post something on the Open for Business Facebook page and my personal page, which was a link to a video of Tyler Oakley, who was on the project tonight. Really interesting little segment that he did on the project on Channel 10 tonight. He is a YouTube sensation. He's a YouTube celebrity. He started making videos on YouTube back in 2007. And he's now a celebrity in his own right, getting to walk the red carpets, talk to movie stars, talk to athletes. He's been to the White House and met the president. The president got a lot of YouTube influencers and people together in a room to talk about ways which he, as the president, can connect with young people, ways to connect with young people and market to young people and so on and so forth. So he's got a great story and he's got some great advice around creating videos and how to market videos and how to gain people's attention. So definitely one to check out. You can find that on the Facebook newsfeed, my newsfeed, and the Open for Business page. James has jumped in. James Chew is in the house, everybody. Check out James. Say good day, James. Talking about video, James Chew is the Aussie video guy. So if you've got any questions relating to video whatsoever, please do pop them in the comments and I'll hand the reins over to James and James can answer those questions. Still working on creating more video content for Open for Business as well. And James says he's back. James is back. He's in the house, ready for another week of Ask AG. And James well and truly won last week for the amount of questions. James threw up 3 awesome questions. So he takes the bragging rights for last week's show. Let's see if anybody can challenge James this week. Can anybody beat James with 3 questions? Even one. James might not have any questions. He might have used them all in the first round. Who knows? I'm sure he hasn't, though. Guys, if you do have any questions, please do chuck them in the comments. And if you want to invite your friends, if you are enjoying this sort of content, if you just want to poke a bit of fun at me doing a live video, by all means, go for it. Hit the share button and share it with your friends as well. That would be awesome, guys. Get as many people in here as we can. Now, let's talk about this week's podcast episode. While you guys think of some curly questions to ask me, or while you're finding the definition of a Thai liger, thanks, James. Appreciate that, mate. I've got that down now. Instead of saying Tigler or whatever I was saying, I'm now saying Thai liger. So that's it. I've got it. Fascinating animal. Anyway, this week on the podcast, episode 26, which means that the podcast has been running for 6 months straight now, and really excited with where it's all going, and got some awesome interviews coming up as well in the not too distant future. We've got a couple of interesting people that are doing their own thing. We're going to be talking to a guy who has built his own app development company. So he has built his own company, his own business around building apps for everyone, which is absolutely fantastic. Matty has jumped in. Thanks, Matty. Really appreciate it, mate. If you've got any questions at all, please chuck them in the comments section below and we will answer them. You can ask me anything. That's what it's all about. James says, congrats. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Putting out a weekly episode of a podcast is good fun. It's awesome to interview these people. I started the podcast in the very beginning because I wanted to interview all these young people who had these awesome businesses and they were doing their own thing, and it's something that's not the norm for a young person to go out and start their very own business these days. So, and there's some awesome stories behind it. So it's absolutely fantastic. And Shannon, who is the guest on episode 26, this week's show, has a fascinating story as well. She's now running her own cafe/coffee shop, One Wild Apple, in Benalla in Victoria, and she's absolutely nailing it, doing an absolutely fantastic job. And if you want to hear more of that story, do listen to the podcast. It's on iTunes and it's on Stitcher for all you Android people out there on the dark side. But anyway, James has thrown in the first question. Question number 1. He says, for young entrepreneurs just starting out, what are a few good business books that should be on the to-read list? Awesome question. And I'm glad he's asked that because I've got some books that you can start reading just up here. So I'll show you some actual examples. All right, so actual books that young entrepreneurs should be reading when they're starting out. Now, there are a lot of books, and there's a lot of books that I'm trying to get through and read, and because I've made a bit of a deal with myself that I'm not going to order any more books, such as the Ask Gary V book. I've got to get my hands on that one. That's going to be awesome. Another book that I'd like to read is Jack Delosa's book that's just come out called Unwritten today. He's also got a book, his first book is called Unprofessional. Jack Delosa is an Australian entrepreneur. He's the founder of The Entourage. Lives in Sydney, awesome company, but I digress. We'll get back to the books. One book, Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley, and he is the co-founder of A Key Person of Influence, which is run by Glenn Carlson, the other half, and their workshops that are held. There's actually one in Melbourne in just a few weeks' time. So if you want to check out Key Person of Influence, then do check it out. They run a live event. You get this book for free when you go to the event. It's really awesome. But this book in particular runs through the 5 Ps, which they say, and is working for lots of people, to become a key person of influence, to become an expert in your field, in your niche, to better yourself in business. And it's all based around the 5 Ps. And those 5 Ps, I'm going to try and list them off the top of my head here. So the first one is profile. Then we have... Should have done my research, James. Let's use the book. So the 5 Ps, let's have a flick through. I'm going to flick the camera around. All right, here we go. Key Person of Influence, Daniel Priestley. This is a definite must read for anybody who is first starting out, and it's a very easy book to get into. It's easy to read. It's only a couple of 100 pages. It's not the kind of book that you're going to sit down and go, oh, I'm never going to get through this. Nice and easy to read. All right, let's flick through here. I want to get this right, so bear with me. I need an extra set of hands. And as you go through the book, they have lots of little exercise sections as well, so you can take notes. I don't really like to read in books, but you can if you want to. So it's a really awesome book. So let's go, the 5 Ps. So first, number 1, of course, is pitch. Yes, James says I need a tripod. A tripod would be awesome. The first P is pitch. So pitching, practicing the art of pitching, telling people what you do, what you're about, and getting them interested in who you are. For example, somebody who is an accountant. Instead of just going up to someone and when they ask you, so what do you do? And you say, oh, I'm an accountant. And they go, oh yeah, that's nice. And the conversation heads elsewhere. To get them engaged, to get them really wanting to know more about what you do, the art of pitching revolves around telling a quick story in a couple of words, in a couple of sentences, to get people's attention and drag them into what you're doing. So instead of just saying I'm an accountant, you can be saying I help people fund their own business and make sure that their business is running as effectively as possible from a financial perspective. So really wrapping a story around what you do. So that's the first P. Then we have publish, which is publishing content, publishing a book, writing content, telling people your story. We have profile, which is building up a reputation through your content, through your marketing, getting your name out there, telling people what you do, pitching to people. We have, what's the next one? Publish, which is publishing a book. They're very big at the Key Person of Influence about publishing your own book, but definitely getting content out there can be just as good as well. And what's the last P? I can't remember. I'm still reading this book, as you can tell. There we go, guys. Almost all the way through it. Now, there are a few people throwing comments in at the same time, so we will get back to those. If you are asking questions, I really do appreciate it. And we'll get back to that as well. So, Key Person of Influence. First book. We'll get through some more. I'll make this quick. Next book. The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. I'll get my fingers out of the way. Another great book for anybody who is looking to bootstrap a business. If you don't have a lot of cash to throw at a business to create your side gig, then The Lean Startup is an excellent book to help you along the way. Lean Startup. All right. The next book, 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss, by Mr. Tim Ferriss. If you don't know who Tim Ferriss is, jump on YouTube, check out his YouTube channel. He does some absolutely amazing stuff, and the 4-Hour Workweek is a great book around entrepreneurial businesses and making sure that the business works for you and allows you to have the time to do whatever you like around your business. And of course, I have to talk about the Big Book of Small Business by this man right here, Mr. Andrew Griffiths. He's one of Australia's top authors. He has published 12 books, and this one right here is an absolute cracker. Big book for small business. So there we go. Hope that answers James's question around some books for people to read if you are thinking about starting, even just if you're in a business, even just reading these books. You don't have to be starting a business. That's not what it's all about. It's about furthering your knowledge, and you can do that by reading. If you hate reading, try audiobooks. Most of these books you can get in an audio format. So if you do lots of travel in the car, if you like if you want to have the headphones in when you're at the gym or something like that, then try an audiobook, guys. Great way to get through some awesome content. So there we go. That is my answer. I hope that answers your question, James. Some great ideas there anyway. But as I said, there's some more books on the wish list, but I've got to get through a couple more that I've got here before I order some more. That's my way of getting through them all. All right, let's have a look back through the feed here. Millsy says, after giving up my day job for the last 3 days, he's hung up the tennis racket and he's picked up a paintbrush. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job too, by the way. Smashing on the paintbrush. He says, question, how do you decide the right job for you? i.e. your job or starting up Open for Business? After 3 days of painting, I can't wait to get back out on the court. I guess that's a good thing. Great question, and I don't blame you, Millsy, because any painting after a while becomes very tedious. But there are people out there who make a career from painting, and if they enjoy it, then that's good. But yeah, no, I'm with you, mate. 3 days of painting and definitely had enough. So your question was, how do you decide the right job for you? That is obviously a question that only you are going to be able to answer. But there are some tips that I can give you to make that process a little bit easier. And I think it really comes back to sitting down and having a good look at what you like and what you don't like, what you enjoy, what makes you, what sort of things get you to jump out of bed in the morning. And I know for a fact, Millsy, great mate of mine, one of my very best mates, and I know for a fact that he lives and breathes tennis, absolutely loves his tennis, always has, ever since he was a youngster. He's a top-notch player, he's a top-notch coach, has been doing it for many, many years, and he went through school. And I'm sure, Millsy, you can correct me if any of this is wrong, but I'm sure he had lots of things running through his mind about what he could do. Grew up on a farm. Obviously, farming is in the family and in the blood. Went to university. He studied teaching and outdoor ed at university. Got a double degree. But while all that was happening, he was still playing tennis, still loved his tennis. He did his Tennis Australia coaches course to become a qualified tennis coach and has been coaching for many, many years now. Finished university and decided that teaching in a school wasn't exactly what he was most passionate about. It was always the tennis, it was always the coaching, teaching kids, teaching adults how to play tennis and improve themselves on the tennis court. And he's followed that and turned that into his career. Millsy was featured on the podcast. He's a past podcast guest. So if you want to hear more of Millsy's story, then do jump over to the podcast and check out the episode where Millsy is featured. So what I'm getting back to, how do you decide the right job for you? I think it really is, it's personal. You have to decide on what you're willing to do, how hard you're willing to work for something. It's hard these days, hard enough to get a job these days. With the shortage of jobs that is out there. And for those people that go out and want to create their own business, create their own job, create their own source of income, it is really about choosing something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy, something you want to do on a daily basis, and turning that into your job, turning that into your career. So even though Millsy did go through all his education, finished school, went through university, completed university, still came out the other side and decided to tread his own path, so to speak, and follow that passion for tennis and turn it into his very own coaching business. For anybody else out there, let's say, for example, Shannon, who's on this week's podcast, she absolutely loved hospitality, loved all sorts of things to do with cooking, baking, and hospitality in general. One of her biggest goals is to own some 5-star resorts in the future. And so she's always had that in her blood. And the opportunity came up to buy the One Wild Apple store cafe that she now owns. She jumped at it, bought that store, chucked all her savings into purchasing the cafe and turned it into her very own. And she's carried on with that. She's got her own catering business. So again, it's about choosing something that you enjoy and that you're passionate about, and researching it. Talk to people, network with people. Often it's the help that somebody can give you, and this has happened with Open for Business as well. It's the information and the help that people can give you, and often it's not what you know, it's who you know. So talk to people. Tell people that, I don't want to go and get a trade for a job, or I don't want to become an accountant, or maybe you do. Maybe that's exactly what you do. Maybe you want to start your own accounting firm. Then work towards that. Research it. Talk to people. Talk to other accountants. For anybody who's out there, like Millsy, if you're passionate about sport, then think about the different areas that you can go into relating to sport, like coaching, like sports science, like sport medicine, like sport therapies, massage, whatever it might be. There's so many occupations out there. There's so many different things that you could be doing. So rather than just jumping into a job that you don't necessarily enjoy, think about it. Think about ways that you can turn it into something that you are actually passionate about and that you enjoy doing. So I hope that answers Millsy's question. It really is about you and thinking about what you can do, taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, and making it happen, because no one else can do it for you. So there you go. Hope that answers your question. Adam's jumped on board. Thanks, Ads. Really appreciate it. Guys, have we got any more questions? Just flicking through the comments here. Thank you to James and Millsy for putting up their question. Really do appreciate it. Guys, I will list these books at the end of tonight's episode as well. I'll put up a link to them. You can find them on in most good bookstores and on Amazon, Booktopia, wherever you might find any books, all books. And they're a great read, so I definitely do recommend checking them out. Guys, tomorrow night I'm heading down to Melbourne for a meetup event. Going down to the meetup, the Entrepreneurs Meetup, which is run by Frank Wyatt, who has been helping me out a lot in the recent months. And there's going to be some past guests there from the podcast and also some future guests. So it's going to be exciting to catch up with everyone there, talk business, and get to see where everybody's up to and get these guys organised to jump on the podcast because they've got some awesome stories to share. So really looking forward to that. Hope you guys have an awesome end to the week as well. Guys, we will pull it up there for this week. And if you do have any more questions, if you are watching this after it has gone live, still feel free to chuck questions or comments in that comment section and we will reply to them straight away. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Really do appreciate it. Been another Wednesday night here at Open for Business HQ. Hope you got some value from tonight's episode. Until next week, guys, stay motivated, keep working towards your goals, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.